You are listening to the Beyond the Classroom podcast, a podcast for burnt out teachers who know something's gotta give. After teaching for 14 years and feeling completely burned out for way too long, in May of 2022, I made a big decision and left the classroom. I now help burnt out teachers like you take back balance and joy so you can wake up every day loving your life. In this podcast, we'll explore who you are beyond the classroom, whether you're considering leaving or wanting to make changes so you can fall in love with teaching again. Either way, I understand what it's like to be living a life that looks fun and cute on the outside. You know, summer's off, playing all day, off at 2 o'clock every day, but actually feels miserable and draining. I'm your host and coach, Sandy Patterson, and I'm so excited to help you step into your fullest potential and believe in that potential to make an impact on the world, not just survive each day. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Classroom podcast. I am Sandy Patterson, your host and certified life and business coach. And I am so excited. I know that I say that every time, but I am so excited today to have a very special guest join us today. Her name is Sandy Michele. Hello, Sandy. We have the same name.
Hello, Sandy.
And she is the founder of Your Freedom Era, and she is the AI queen. And I am so excited to have her on today. She's a former teacher, and she was so graciously willing to take time from her family and her busy schedule to join us today here on the podcast to share her story and to just have a little chat here. So Sandy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I am honored to be here. I have been looking forward to this and counting down the days. So I'm so excited to be speaking with you and talking about our journeys. And it's just great to network and connect.
Absolutely. And I love it. I mean, former teachers, right, who are doing something different. And we talked about this before too. Like, my whole thing with this podcast is like, I just want people to see if she can do it, so can I. Or, oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that. Like, wait a second, that's a possibility. Like, that could be me too. And so, like I said, I'm so appreciative that you are here today. So to start off, why don't you tell us just a little bit about you, just maybe some fun facts, and we'll dive right in.
Yes, absolutely. So I think I want to say it while it's on my mind. One goal for today's podcast is really just to help anyone who's a teacher now listening, who's just feels like they're in the thick of it and want to get out. There are so many limiting beliefs, and I know that I had a lot of them. So maybe if I can just share what they are, how I overcame them, and that there really is greener grass outside of the classroom. If that's your mindset, if you love it, then then more power to you. The world needs good teachers who want to stay with it. I was not one of them, and if that is you too, then I hope I can unpack that today.
I love that. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that too. I think because there is, and I've said the whole time, like, I remember when I first started this whole journey, and I left the classroom, and there's a lot of shame around it. There's a lot of guilt. Our identities are wrapped in teaching. All I know how to do is teach. That's all I've ever been. I'm a teacher. I know people would comment on my Instagram post and be like, "What are you doing? Are you trying to get everyone to quit?" And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm doing. That's actually the opposite. I'm just here to show teachers that if they are uncomfortable, if they're miserable, if they're slowly dying inside like I was, there's so much possibility out there if, exactly like what you said, if we move through those limiting beliefs. So I can't wait to hear more about them. But tell me, where are you located?
So I'm in Florida. I'm in South Florida. I love it. We do a lot of outdoor stuff together. We're always out on the water, out on the boats. I was a previous high school teacher. I taught science, and I always thought it was the most fun. So I always tried to do a lot of hands-on activities with the kids and show them local ecological zones and areas that were relevant to them that they could relate to. So that's a little bit about me and my past. But so I taught for 12 years. I taught high school science, like I said, and there were parts of it that honestly I loved, and that's why you get into the teaching profession, right? Is that you love to just the spark that you see in others when they didn't care about science or education or whatever your subject is, and all of a sudden you're the reason they like that subject, and you're the reason they want to go and pursue X, Y, and Z. So that was the rewarding part. Everything else was not. It was
Okay,
very
so
bad.
yeah. So, okay, this is interesting to me. 12 years too. 12 years is
Yes.
not like it's not like a quick stint. It's like
Right.
you're like established, you know what you're
Yep.
doing. It's not your first rodeo. Like you've got this down. You were probably comfortable at one point. So tell me a little bit about when you like was there a moment for you that you were like, okay, I'm
Yes.
done. Tell me about
Yes.
it.
So I actually have my bachelor's degree and I don't like to say that it's in education. It's actually in biology. There's a few courses
Mm,
that I took that were in education, but it allowed me to go right into being a professional teacher. I didn't have to do all of the intermediary things. And then I have my master's in curriculum and instruction. So I'm a teacher to its core. But what really struck me that for years I was having this feeling that just this wasn't right. This wasn't what I was meant to do. Getting into teaching, everyone told me that this is the greatest place if you want to be a mom. I always wanted to be a mom. I always wanted to have kids.
mm,
I thought about doing other things like being a pharmacist or a doctor, having such a good science background, and I thought, no. Everyone's telling me that teaching is the way to go for being a mom. You have the summers off and you get off early. So I'm going to be a teacher. And then just working in it and the day to day struggles and all of the accountability that mounted on teachers, no one else, just on teachers. And it was getting worse and worse. And then the pandemic hit. And prior to COVID, I was teaching online. I had my kids opening up their laptops. I had all kinds of fundraisers that I did and grant writing that I did get Chromebooks and laptops in the hands of kids all
mhm,
prior to the infusion of federal funds from COVID. So I was
mhm.
already teaching virtually. I knew learning management systems. I knew how to teach through video. I knew how to, assign them YouTube videos. Every new teacher app that I could get my hands on, I implemented. I was doing professional development trainings. And then COVID hit. And I was still sending my little daughter to daycare when it was too dangerous for everyone else to go to school. I was sending my kid to daycare so that I could teach virtually over the computer and hold professional development trainings for my other teachers. All of the tech aspects that was just too far out of reach for everyone else, I was teaching them on my planning periods. And I thought, this is a very profitable skill set and
Mm,
nobody cares. My
mhm.
administration is not saying, here's another $10,000 because you're so amazing at what you do. Nobody cares. I was teaching to an empty classroom because kids weren't showing up or they were sleeping. One kid disappeared for an hour because we had block scheduling. I said, where did you go? He says, I went grocery shopping. I don't need to be doing this. I don't need to be doing this. I have so much more that I can provide.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so starting from that point
yeah,
on, I returned back to the classroom and my mindset totally shifted. I saw excellent teachers that were making an impact and they were wonderful, but they were grinding their gears. And then I saw teachers that were just sliding by, they were doing the bare minimum, and they were getting the same paycheck. So I hate to say that, I got down to their level, but I thought, we're in the same position, we're getting the same pay, we're looked at the same, we're valued the same. So I started doing the bare minimum and I started to ramp up. I started a teachers pay teachers account. I've made a lot of money with teachers pay teachers, and at the time I had another teacher tell me that I should do it. I said, no one's going to want to buy my lessons. She says, yes, they will. And then I
yeah,
sat back and I thought about it and I thought, I'm going for a master's in curriculum design. I'm getting a master's degree in designing curriculum. I don't think I'm good enough to post to
yeah.
teachers pay teachers. Yes, do it.
Yes. Oh my
So I
gosh.
so that was one of them. That was just a side thing. On top of my master's degree, I decided to get that while I was still teaching full time. And I was pregnant because my mindset was already to get on a fast track out of the classroom. Um, so I was getting my master's degree in curriculum and instruction. I started my teachers pay teachers store, and I knew that when I was leaving, I was going to be an instructional designer. I was going to design
Mm,
onboarding courses for HR or whatever it was. There's all kinds of different softwares that you needed to know for instructional design. So I downloaded them all. I created a portfolio. I created courses. One was on like bloodborne pathogens, how to do
yeah,
like put on gloves and
yeah.
dispose of things like that. All kinds of
Oh gosh.
compliance courses,
The
but they
bloodborne
made a lot more.
pathogens.
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes.
like thinking, it's been 2 years since I've had to do that, and I do not miss that one bit.
Exactly. And that's
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go back just for a second here, because I work with a lot of women who are in that phase that you kind of just described, where they're like, okay, I'm done. I hit that tipping point where it's like, I can't do this anymore, but I still need a way to pay the bills while I figure out like what this next thing is going to be. And you just described me perfectly when you said I became bare minimum. Like I did the bare minimum and I started to shift my priorities. Exactly what you just described, that just so resonated with me, because we do, like, nobody's expecting anybody, like if you decide like I want a new career, or I want to leave my 9 to 5, or I want to leave my teaching job, like nobody's expecting you to just quit the next day and walk out the door and be like done. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, and there's a lot of planning, right? We're teachers, we love planning, like a plan to make that happen. And in order to have enough energy and enough time and enough space to create this new path, you have to pull back in some areas, and that's exactly what you just described. And I like how you're talking about it too, because you're not talking about it in a shameful way. Like it didn't make you less of a teacher, it didn't make you less of a person, less of a human being, less anything. Like I love that, because really all you need is a little classroom management, solid instructional practices, and then everything else can fall by the wayside. And that's what COVID taught us for sure.
Yes, there was a line I repeated to myself during the minimal days. And I hate to say it, because prior to that, I was an excellent teacher. I tried to do everything by the book. I loved my students, and I did during my minimal phase. But one thing I always taught myself, because I strived so hard before COVID to be a phenomenal teacher, and I was at that time.
Yep.
But in my minimal phase, I kept saying, you're a better teacher than some of those other teachers on your worst day than they are on their best day, because they've never tried, they've never broken outside of the box and sought out different ways to teach, or look for the most effective strategy. So even on their best day, I'm probably a more effective teacher on my worst day.
Yes,
and I did. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you're so right. And I think that that's why so many really amazing teachers are leaving or have left teaching. Like I hear that all the time too. That people are like, "Oh my gosh, you were such a great teacher. You were so wonderful. You were born to teach. You were meant to teach." Like, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't know that, like, I'm made for more. That's what makes me so great, is that I'm willing to go above and beyond and do these amazing things. And then the people that are staying, like, I don't know. And this is not, I have very, very near, dear teacher friends that are like family to me, and they are amazing, and they are happy, and they love their students dearly. But I feel that. I feel what you're saying.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes. And then to piggyback on what you're saying about being told that you're made to teach, I'm going to hopefully break some limiting beliefs here, is that I am the same. I am made to teach. I am designed to teach. I'm an excellent teacher. I love to know that my students get it. I can circle back and say, what didn't you understand? And say that back to me. I am born to teach. So I am taking my teaching gifts, as you have, and as you mentioned in your previous podcast, and I am teaching a different group of people, and I am providing a far bigger scope of impact than I was in the classroom.
Yeah.
From my experience, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go.
I was going to say, from my experience in the classroom, teaching teenagers that in their mind, they're already grown adults. Yeah. A lot of them don't want to be there. They certainly don't want to hear my teaching. And as much as I like them, I get to teach people who want to hear what I have to say. I get to teach people who want to listen to a skill set I can share with them, and they like what I have to say enough. They're engaged and interested enough to actually go and do what I'm telling them. And that's the most impactful part, and I find it so much more rewarding sometimes
and
than
isn't
classroom
it so
teaching.
different? I know exactly. Like I was talking with a client about this the other day, and we talk about how, like, you take those skills that you have in teaching and you're basically just picking them up and moving them into a different space that feels better to you, that feels just better to you. And yeah, I totally agree with that. And it took me a long time to recognize what you just said, that like, oh, I still am a teacher. Like I'm still teaching bar. I'm still coaching. Like I'm still supporting people in that way, but it just feels a lot better to me, and it doesn't, like, I don't have nightmares anymore about like,
Absolutely.
about what you
It's just a
described.
Yes, and it's just a reframing of mindset. So, just like you are, just being an entrepreneur, you have many different ways that you're, looking to advance yourself. One of which, when I started, was Teachers Pay Teachers. So I
Mhm.
looked in my store. I have 3,000 sales. So I have sold to 3,000 different teachers. So if you multiply that, being a secondary teacher, you might have 150, 180 students multiplied
Mhm.
by 3,000 sales. Imagine the impact that I've had by sharing lessons that have gone and helped that
Yeah.
many people. So much more of an
Yeah.
impact. So
It's
there's
just
just so much
different.
more that
Yeah. Oh
that
my God.
teachers can do.
So much more. And that it doesn't have to be like, it can be however you want it to be. Like life
Yes.
can be whatever you want it to be. If you're willing
Yes.
to be uncomfortable for a little bit to get what you want.
Exactly. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to suck. And some people are in the
Yeah.
classroom and they don't think it does, and that is excellent. We need people like that.
Yeah.
But for me it did. And
Yeah.
um yeah,
I
I'm
also
happy to
want to point out too, you said that you kind of started this transition. You were like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to get out of teaching. I'm going to be the bare minimum teacher. That's just what I'm going to call it right now. I did it too. So bare minimum teacher, I'm going to start to build this this other path. And you're pregnant and you're still working full time. Like no excuses, because I did the same exact thing. I was like, I built a business while still teaching full time with my boys were young men. They were little, and I mean, no excuses though. If we can
No.
do it, anybody can.
Yeah, it's just you need to be in the mindset of which sucks more. Staying
Exactly.
in this profession for another 20 years. I don't know. They keep changing the pension plan for teachers. They keep changing Social Security.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine staying in this for 20 years.
Yeah.
This sucks less.
Yeah.
Yes, it's taking up a lot of my time. Yes, it's hard as hell, but the end game is so much more. You're looking forward to something. It's so much more than the future that I know is waiting for me if I stay here. So
Mhm.
this sucks
Yeah.
less. And you need to get in that mindset of thinking, choosing your hard.
Choose your suck.
Yes, choose your suck.
Okay.
It does.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so going back now, you started your TPT store and you decided I'm going to be a curriculum designer. You started to build your portfolio while pregnant. Your son was young. Or your daughter was still young. You were teaching full time. So then what happened? Do tell.
Yes. So I worked, so I had my son, and that was over the summer. So I had the summer to kind of, um, decompress and spend time being, a new mom all over again. And that was fun. And then, while I still had him as a, brand new baby, I was just applying to everything under the sun, curriculum related, instructional related. And, I wound up getting an instructional design job, and I was making good money. I was designing curriculum for colleges. So they were using
Mm-hmm.
Canvas. They were using Canvas, the LMS Canvas, which what my entire master's degree was based in that.
Yeah.
So I was taking. It was great. It was a good perception shift from the classroom, because I was still making curriculum. I was making virtual assignments for colleges, but I didn't have to do any of the thinking. I got all of the lessons, I got all of the quizzes, I got all the assignments, I got all of the everything. All I needed to do was to plug it into their virtual program, and out came this beautiful e-learning course. So I was
So can I
designing courses for
ask
college.
you? Yeah. Okay. So I have two questions about that. So did you have to go into an office or was it virtual at that time?
No, I had to do virtual. Everything from this
It was
point on is
virtual.
going to be
Okay.
virtual. I am not going into
Okay.
any kind of physical brick and mortar anything. We're just going to cross that off the list. That ended with the classroom. I'm done. So
Isn't that
done.
funny? Okay, okay, so I got it. And then my second question was, how many, at that point, so you said I was applying to every job that I came across. How many, like, if you had to guess, or maybe how many jobs did you apply for before you got that one yes?
Oh my goodness. A lot. A lot. I want to say I don't know, maybe 10 to 20 a day. And then some of the large job boards were depressing because it said, thank you for your application. You're one of 15,000 applicants. So it was pretty tough. But I followed a few teacher transition accounts on Instagram and Facebook. I took a couple courses and they were very helpful. So I wound up landing a job through one of their job boards.
Okay, so when you said 10 to 20, and then you were like 10 to 20 a day, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. So that's a lot of no's to get to that one yes.
Yes.
Right?
Choose your suck.
What would have happened if, choose your suck, girl. What would have happened if you had have gotten that no, the first no, and you were like, oh man, I'm not cut out for this. I can't do this. And then you quit.
Yes.
Or even the 20th. Or the 50th.
I've been through that phase. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought I wanted to do virtual teaching. So I did that. And I saw a biology position pop up. And I thought, oh, I'd be perfect. I'll apply for it. And I got a no. And I thought, oh, well, that didn't work out. Let me go back to my classroom.
But again, it goes back to the mindset shift, right? It's not about like, oh, no, like I'm going to take it personally. This is all about me. And this is very, like, I can't do this. It's like, no, there's my next no. Now let's move on to the next thing so I can get that yes. Like if you knew success was inevitable, would you keep going? And you're like, yes, I would. Just so, okay, that's a no, check, go to the next one. No, check, go to the next one. Like just keep going.
Yeah. And when I reflect on that, it's not, well, will I fail or will I succeed? I've changed my mindset to think I am going to make this work. This is going to work. I don't know if X is going to work. Maybe Y is going to work. Something is going to work. I'm going to find something that's going to work and it's going to work. I'm going to make it work because that classroom teaching didn't work. So I know that didn't work. I'm going to try this instead. This aligns more with my goals and what I want to do. So that has been a mindset change as well.
Oh, totally. And I think I'm like listening to you. I'm like, that's all you literally need to be successful is that mindset of like, I'm going to freaking make this work. I don't know, like you said, like X or Y or Z, or maybe I'll swing back around and G will work. Like, who knows?
Exactly.
But it's being willing to take a chance on yourself and to trust yourself enough to know that, like, I've got this. I'm going to make it happen. Like, it's going to happen. No matter
and it's
what.
Very empowering to have a list of no's, have a list of what doesn't work. Classroom teaching does not work. Classroom teaching is not a plan B, C, D. It's not on my horizon anymore. I am incredibly qualified, of course, for the job. I am never going to go back to that. And to have that kind of closure is powerful because I know that that's in the no pile and everything else is in the yes pile or potential pile.
And I'm curious. I guess I'm just curious because I feel the same way. I'm like, and when I first left, you're scared and you're like, oh, like, I don't know if I should do this. Like telling my husband like, oh my gosh, like, is this a mistake? Is this, whatever. And he was like, you can always go back. And I kind of hung on to that for a while. Like, yeah, you're right. I guess I can always go back if I need or want to. But now I was just telling a friend this morning. I'm like, okay, if I was ever in a pinch and shit hit the fan, like I would go work at Trader Joe's or Starbucks or Costco before I go back. But again, that's a personal decision. That's a personal me. And I'm curious too about your decision because to feel like that, you must think that the grass is greener on the other side.
Yes. And to talk to your thought of, I'll just go work at Trader Joe's. I am completely aligned with that. But in the sense that the job that I would take on needs to be benefiting me in some way. So that's what brings me into my other steps of my journey, I guess, where I've gone. So I was in instructional design, learning as much as I could. In fact, Canvas, the learning management software that I was working on, it wasn't plug and play like some of the other classroom softwares we've used. I actually had to learn coding. So I went through and learned a lot of the back-end coding and learned like some of like the formatting of it, like HTML5 and JSON and all. I didn't know any of that, but I YouTubed it and I Googled it and I was going to figure it out. So as I was going through the tech side of instructional design and e-learning, I was listening to all these podcasts and they all were talking about AI. And I thought, AI is going to replace me as an instructional designer. If all I am doing is taking professors' quizzes and tests and assignments and activities and plugging them in to a learning management system, I am easily going to be replaced. So I thought, I need to switch gears again. I need to get out of the instructional design thing because I'm trading my time for money, and leaving classroom teaching, the money is better, but I'm still in this rut of not being paid for my skill set and my knowledge and my motivation and all of these positive attributes. I'm more than just my time. So let me see what else I can do. So I wound up starting, while I was doing my instructional design job and had my infant at home with me, I wound up taking on freelance work, and I was learning more about freelancing and what to do. So I managed social media for a few different local companies and friends. And then I had a friend that said, yes, I need social media management, but I also need someone to manage my website. I'm paying a company for it. It's far too expensive. So I learned WordPress. I learned the whole back end of WordPress. He had an incredibly complicated website. I knew nothing about web design, but it was an opportunity, and I upskilled to figure it out. So going through all of this with my clients, I said, AI is pretty great. I've learned how to use ChatGPT in a way that can make you passive income in your business. Would you like me to create a blog for you that can monetize while you're busy working on, your genius of your business? Would you like me to design an email campaign for you? And each one of them said, no, I don't have time for that. And I thought, maybe I can make my own course and teach other business owners how they can implement ChatGPT. So that's where I've learned. So eventually I've moved out of instructional design into the AI world and into the independent business owner world.
Oh
It's
my
been a
God.
journey.
Okay. This is so good. So two things that I'm like, that like are sticking out to me. The first thing is, number one, that you've talked about is like your mindset. Like your mindset is just key. Like it has to be in check, or you're basically going to like crumble.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I say that from experience too. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that from listening to your story too, is that this idea that it's okay to not have everything figured out yet, or right away, or to step out of the gate as like having it all figured out. Like giving yourself
Absolutely.
space and time to figure things out, and leaving yourself open to all these opportunities too, right? These different
Yes.
things, because I don't know, it's just a really beautiful story. And like, I did this and then I
Yes.
tried this and that didn't work. And this person said no, so why don't I try that? Like just coming at it from so
Yes.
many different angles.
Yes, absolutely. You have to have that ingrained mindset of, I am going to make it work. I am going to succeed. I don't know what I'm going to succeed at. I don't know how it's going to pan out. I don't know what my path will be, but I will succeed. So some might think, all the struggles that I went through and work that I did trying to become an instructional designer, and then seeing the writing on the wall that this will eventually be an antiquated job or career path. Some might be depressed over that, or I worked so hard to get to this job. I
Mm-hmm.
landed a job. I worked so hard to land it, and now, it's got a timestamp on it. I'm constantly in the mindset of upskill. What can I learn? How can I use this for my business? How can I do better? How can I improve? How can I grow? How can I learn from this person? What's a skill set that I don't have? How can I go seek that out? And I think as long as you're constantly learning, and you just have to be at that wall with teaching. If you're not
And
there yet, you'll find it.
yeah, those questions that you just asked too, like how can I learn? How can I do better? How can I like how can I revise this? How can I tweak this? What can I learn here? That those questions are so much more productive than, why didn't it work? Is this the wrong choice? Like, am I doing the wrong thing? Am I cut out for this? Like, those questions are just not productive. The
Right.
questions you just asked are so much more productive in any aspect of life. Like, take
Yes.
anything. Those
Yes.
are the questions we should be asking ourselves.
Yes. And the teacher niche is very hard to break someone out of. If someone is basically in any other profession that's not so ingrained as a career, maybe police and firefighters would kind of be in the same situation as teachers, but we have such strong limiting beliefs. Well, I have a pension, I can't leave. I have a pension. Well, I have healthcare. Well, I have tenure. That's another straw that broke the camel's back for me. Mentally, I was already checked out. But when I went to go tell my principal I was pregnant, in my mind, I was already leaving at the end of the year. I had worked so hard for anatomy and physiology, to teach anatomy and physiology. I absolutely loved it. I loved the students. I loved every single one of them. It was amazing. This was a non-tested subject, so I could do whatever the heck I want. And we had so much dang fun in that class. Oh my gosh, we had a great time. The kids enjoyed it. I had kids coming back to me saying that I prepared them so well for college. It was just like the shining light in my day was to teach anatomy. And then biology, nobody wanted to teach biology. The kids didn't want to be in biology. The gap between, I had kids on a 4th and 5th grade reading level, and they were being tested on college level science. I don't want to teach it. They're, they already feel like failures. You can't teach that. So I went to my principal. I told him I was pregnant. He told me, by the way, you're not going to have anatomy next year. You're going to be in all biology. Well, I developed that entire curriculum for anatomy. He was just going to take it away from me, give it to a first-year teacher. And then he said, when are you due? I said, I'm due in July. He says, oh, that's, like 4 weeks till school comes back. Guess you could take a week or 2 off. I don't see a reason why you have to take maternity leave.
Okay, okay, I could say a lot of things, but I let's just leave it at okay. Let's just have it for a second.
I think so. I said, have a good day.
Okay, you are, oh my gosh, okay. I want to say a lot of things. I have a good friend, a very, very dear friend who is pregnant right now, and she's going through the same thing, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's just not right. But that's we could do a whole nother episode on that. Going back to this idea of the limiting beliefs are so real as far as teaching. And again, I know it's not your intention, never my intention to try to talk anybody out of being a teacher or out of teaching or whatever. It's just, it's so like we talked about before, our identities are so wrapped in it.
Yes.
Because of so many messages that we've been told over the years. And also the perception of what teaching is versus what it actually is. I think it's hard for people outside of teaching to understand, you're a teacher. Why are you complaining? That's such an easy job. You sing all day, you color all day, you play, you paint, you're off at 2:30. You have the whole summer off. Why are you complaining? So it's just very different, and it's I guess just here to validate anybody that's feeling any way, right? Whether you love teaching, like we talked about, amazing. We need great teachers. I love my kids' teachers, and I'm so incredibly thankful for them, and I try to support them in ways that I know best now. But if you have that little inkling that you're I don't know if I can do this for another 20, 30 years. It's okay. And all of these beliefs that you have, they're all we can pull them up, we can dig them out, we can untangle them, and we can figure this out. And you don't have to do it alone. There's so much support out here. And if you're already to the point where you're F this, I'm out of here, how do I get out? There's also support for that. And that's mostly who I work with too, are those women who are I'm done, I'm ready, let's go. Let's do this.
Yes. I can't believe someone told you, are you trying to talk teachers out of being teachers? You don't have to talk teachers out of doing that. They either know they want to stay or they know they want to get the F out. There's really not a lot of gray area teachers.
Yeah, and I think, I know, it didn't bother me. I just kind of thought it was funny because I'm no, that's not even close.
Yes.
But I don't know. Yeah, we talk. We could have we could do a whole nother part 2 episode of this. But as we start to wrap this up, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about your business now and what you do now.
Yes. So what I do now is I love AI. I love all of the applications of AI in small businesses. I would consider myself a ChatGPT expert. I've been doing ChatGPT coaching for many small business owners, and that's the spark that I used to have in teaching, my interactions with the students when they would get it and they enjoyed what I had to say. That's the feeling that I get with AI coaching, and I absolutely love it. So I have started a brand new Instagram page from scratch. It's kind of a little scary and daunting, but but that's the nature of what we're doing. So this new page is going to be completely geared towards AI coaching. I'm about to launch an AI course that teaches small business owners how to implement ChatGPT, how to have their own ChatGPTs, how to create custom ChatGPTs, how to make them on brand and on tone voices, and really how to make it useful for your business. There's so many generic ChatGPT prompts and responses, and I want to help people break out of that cycle. So if you're interested, you can find me on Instagram at Your Freedom Era, and I hope you do, because I have so much to share with you in regards to ChatGPT.
Oh, I love it. And I'm so curious too. Like, I haven't really, like, obviously if you're living under a rock, like, then maybe you don't know about AI, but I feel like I've been hearing about it for so long, and I just, like, for me personally, I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of scared. So I'm so curious, like, how it can help. I mean, in my small business too, like, how it can save me time. And I'm sure that's exactly what you do. So I'm excited to learn more from you.
Yes, exactly. And we talk about limiting beliefs in teachers. Small business owners have them too. I don't want to start ChatGPT because it's just going to give me a generic response. And it does if you don't know how to customize it for you. So I am ready to unpack that with all small business owners out there, whether it be online or in person. I'm happy to help all forms of small business with ChatGPT.
I love it. Okay, so we'll absolutely put all of your links in the show notes, so it'll be easy to find for anybody listening that is interested, so we can find you there. And then last question for our time together today: if you, what piece of advice would you give someone who is wanting to start a business but is terrified?
My piece of advice is that it seems terrifying. Any goal you have seems terrifying before you start it. And then once you're in the thick of it, once you have passed over the bridge, over the hurdle, over the hill, it's not that scary. The whole, like, crux of the matter is just to constantly figure out what you need more help with, either to search it out yourself through your own self-education or independent research, find yourself a coach, just get some kind of help in whatever area you're struggling with, anything you want to know about. It's a constant, and that's really life, is being a constant learner, constantly upskilling. And that's really it. Past the hill of just being absolutely terrified, it's not that terrifying, but it is new, and things that are new sometimes can be terrifying.
Yeah, and we make it more terrifying in our head, right? Like, we're like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
But then we do it and we're like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
Right, exactly.
Like, every time I go to the dentist, it's basically that same story.
Yes, it's all mindset.
I thought you were going to say, and just to add on to that, I thought you were going to be like, get over the terrifying part and then choose your suck.
Well, I mean, it is, but you figure it out. You just do. You figure it out. You're going to make it work. You just need to figure out how. But it will work out if you make it.
It's that like solid belief. It's going to work. It's going to work.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure talking with you and having you here. I know so many people are going to get so many wonderful little nuggets from this conversation. So thank you.
I am so glad, Sandy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, you guys, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time here for another episode. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Beyond the Classroom. If you know something has to change and you're ready to take the next step to make it happen, whether it's in or out of the classroom, let's talk it through together. Schedule a no-obligation chat with me and we can talk through where you're stuck, how to get you unstuck, and how to keep you moving forward. Schedule your free call today by clicking the link in the show notes. I can't wait to connect with you.